welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Zachary Patton Garcia, and welcome to Buffy Revival News, where we have learned that Buffy motherfucking Summers wears Louboutins. I just received this info right before we started recording. It's taking my breath away.
Listen, so also I'm going to sound like a peasant because I don't know how to say a lot of these brand names.
He's not Carrie Bradshaw.
I am not. Zach is better with designers. So Buffy Wardrobe on Instagram, I follow them. They're great. They post like, from this episode, Buffy wore this and like the exact outfit and talk
Love
about
it.
the price.
They'll tell you where to get it.
But yeah, they're great. They said the dress is Roland Moret. Ugh, I know I slaughtered that name. The bag is yes Saint Laurent Sac de Jour.
YSL Sac de Jour.
And shoes are Louboutin Hot Chick. Sounds pretty pricey.
It sounds like Buffy Summers has got a full bank account, and she deserves it. I hope that is the only thing that I hope for Buffy Summers in 2025, 2026 is that Buffy Summers has a full bank account.
You know, it's funny. Kirsten White, like the first time I had her on the podcast, like before we were like friends, I remember her saying like, oh, the only thing I really ship Buffy with is financial independence. And like, that has become also my like, and that's what I feel about myself. I only ship myself. Like when people are like, oh, don't you want to get married? I'm like, I want financial independence first.
And fair. Yes. But Buffy did die twice. So I think, just a little bit more than you. She deserves financial independence. But Buffy Summers is living.
We both have dead moms. So.
Oh my goodness. Not the Olympics. She is living in New York in an expensive apartment. Like this is the thing that I want to see from Buffy Summers right now is that I need to see the apartment. I need to see the closet. I want to see, if we know that she's wearing Louboutins, then I want to see the rest that I want to see the Jimmy Choos. I want to see the Givenchy. I want to see fucking all of it, okay? Give it to us.
I've been thinking about it since, so a lot of people kept saying we were incorrect and she's filming something else. That other thing, Summer Bad People or Bad People Summer, is not filming.
No.
And if you look at it by IMDb, there's no cast list button. And people pointed out, I did not notice it, but a lot of people have pointed out since, Chloe Zhao, you can see her in the video of Sarah Michelle Gellar walking in that red dress. She's like in the whatever tent and comes out to like talk to her. So it is definitely Buffy.
She's filming Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Stop DMing Ian, you idiots. You're giving him a nosebleed. I cannot deal with this on my end, okay? I have to handle this.
Yes.
So confirmed. Sarah Michelle Gellar was filming, confirmed, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later as well when we're going to get into our little spoilery section. But we've got casting news, a pretty big casting news. In our world, as horror gays.
Chase Sue Wonders was the final girl in I Know You Did Last Summer, which Zach and I both really enjoyed and recommend. She is cast for the pilot. Deadline says it is a one-off guest star role, presumably as a vampire. I could definitely see her rocking like
I see
a Buffy vampire look, right?
It's giving Darla. It's giving like, only supposed to come in for this one little moment, but probably will come in a little bit further down the line. Sarah Michelle Gellar was on the set of I Know What You Did Last Summer, like a significant chunk, like a good little chunk of the movie because she's best friends with Jennifer Caton Robinson, who, if this series goes to order, right, she is coming in to direct a couple episodes, right? It has to. But so Sarah was like making relationships with all of these people, and Chase and her apparently like got on really well. And so imagine you were on a reboot, revival, whatever the fuck you call it, of I Know What You Did Last Summer, this classic iconic movie starring Helen Shivers. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is there to reprise Helen Shivers and also gets you a job on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Am I cursed in life? Does Jesus hate me? Is it because I'm a faggot? Because where is my luck in this, okay?
Throw Madeline Klein in there and I am so sold. We loved her and I Know You Did Last Summer. I feel like that movie felt like the vibe of a Buffy episode. I think that's why you and I, even though we can see its faults, like still really had fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it really
I saw 3 times.
Captures the vibe.
Absolutely. And we got like good little quotes from her. Because I kind of when you sent me the article, I was like, oh, so it's gonna just like announce her casting. She's giving quotes in this. She is telling us what is going on set, right? Like she says, What I can say is that it's a very fun way to enter the series, and Sarah is on set every day from as soon as we start to when we wrap. She's very hands-on. She also goes on to say, um, she's the on-set consultant for all kinds of things, like, how do you react to these types of vampires, or how does someone react to a bite, and all the lore that she's got in her brain. So it's very helpful. Uh, do you know what this did for me? And for you and for all the Buffy fans, right? Sarah Michelle Gellar, she is in the motherfucking seat. She is here. She has got it all. It confirms to us, like she jokes a lot that she doesn't remember things from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So either she was lying to us, or she is deep in a rewatch, getting prepared for this motherfucking project.
Because the type A that Buffy would come out with Buffy every once in a while, like with Thanksgiving and like that kind of stuff, I do think Sarah Michelle Gellar, and this is complimentary, has that type A
Oh, she's
personality
top
as
A.
well.
Yes.
Yeah. And like every actor I've had on the podcast has always been like, you don't mess up a scene when you're with Sarah Michelle Gellar because she never messes up and never forgets a line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that could be taken as like, oh, maybe, but like I think that just means that when she commits to something, she
Yes.
commits. Like,
And what else would she commit to more than Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Especially as she has been so far removed from it, and the years have gone on, she has gained that like
yeah.
that new respect has just been growing and growing and growing within her, and it's very clear when she does talk about it. And so like I have to imagine she's like actively watching it, right? Actively like looking. And sorry to be jumping all over the place. I'm a little bit excited. How do you react to these types of vampires? Uber vamps confirmed. The Uber vamps are coming back because what other kinds of vampires are we talking about?
Right.
These motherfuckers survived the Sunnydale collapse, and they were crawling out of that little pit.
Because like, right, like even though they like whatever
Yeah.
finished whatever they were doing in season 7, like I don't know, I could still buy that a Turrican could still rise.
Yes. It's just so
And
exciting. Ugh.
and like I don't know, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
I love that, and I also think like a good thing for this show to do is like get shit like that at the top, so it's not
Yeah.
like, well, what about, because I know there will be so many fans that are like, well, what about this, and like you get that out of the way so that we've already seen the Turrican, we know they exist.
Yeah.
Like
It's just so nice to know that she is acting as like an encyclopedia for this world, right? Like that warms my heart.
also, imagine all those things you said about like you work with her in summer, they get to go on Buffy, but like also like she can help you. Like she's like, oh,
I
this is
get
how
to
this
have a
this is how you act that.
conversation with Sarah Michelle Gellar about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. None of us faggots could ever, but Chase gets
Listen,
to.
maybe with the revival, I will get her on and
Let's
we'll get
take a
to talk
deep
to her.
centering breath. Okay. We've got a lot of other casting news too, because 3
Yes.
other people got cast as well. This is a very full cast for a
Yes.
pilot episode.
But also, the first episode of Buffy does have a lot of characters because we get like our Scoobies, Cordelia, we get Cordelia's friends, we get Jesse who has to die, we get the new principal the first principal who inevitably dies, we get
One of
Buffy's
many.
mom. So they're like, I feel like they're like making sure it's full from the start because they also understand that like the original Buffy show had like a wealth of things to like
Yeah.
navigate through. Like, well, if we don't want to do vampires anymore, let's do vengeance demons. Well, we don't want to do vengeance demons, let's do the mayor. I feel like that's what we're like going for, like a rich world here. So yeah. So the other folks that were announced recently, and I really apologize, I'm probably going to slaughter these names.
Yes.
Marin Dungy from The Lincoln Lawyer, Audrey Hasu from Found, Audrey Grace Marshall from The Flight Attendant. I've watched The Flight Attendant, only season 1, but I don't remember her. Did you watch any of
I've
these?
seen that, and I've seen The Lincoln Lawyer, so slightly familiar. I will probably have to go back and just like refresh their faces for me, but and one or two of them, I don't really remember, is playing like as part of this Christian sort of like youth group in the town. And that's a really new and fresh thing to do because we had religion in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but we didn't really like touch on religion. We didn't really go into it, right? There were crosses everywhere. We visited a church sometimes, but we didn't really go into theology or anything like that, right? And the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is very sort of antithetical to the God created world that sort
Right.
of Christians believe in, right? And so I think this could be a really interesting butting of heads, and it leads me to believe that New Sunnydale Academy is kind of like a Christian school, right? Or maybe not.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that.
Because they
Could
really
be.
go into like every article that I read about it, they talk about old Sunnydale, new Sunnydale. Old Sunnydale being gritty and new Sunnydale being the sort of like well-to-do. It reminds me a lot of like Shady Side, Sunnyvale, and I guess Sunnyvale would be new Sunnydale, and
Hmm.
I could just see all the Christians populating it, right? Like it would be the
I could,
prim and proper
yeah.
houses, the Christians, and
And I
the
could
crosses. And
totally. A rumor I had heard that one of the characters would be from like a
mm,
very religious family, and the vampire stuff would like make her question it. And I feel like that makes sense then. Like one of the friends would be from a group like that, and maybe they're
yeah,
like, we don't talk about vampires. That's a sin. Those are
that's
vampires are just gay
blasphemous.
people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Never been more right. But I can see it. I can see a vengeance demon. What the hell is a vengeance demon? You need to pray, sir.
Right.
You need to pray. You have a
I know,
vampire
right?
boyfriend. I see it. It's going to be good. Like
We
I'm
don't.
interested in this.
Yes. And so I don't think we talked about the full like other cast the last episode, but I guess we'll
Yeah, let's
want to
just
go
do like
through
a
that
quick run
now.
through of the rest of the cast, sort of like padding all
So
this out.
Kingston Verns is set to play Carson, who is said to be a junior Olympian and popular student at New Sunnydale Academy. He catches Nova's eye early on, and following a pivotal moment, starts noticing her too. Sarah Brock as Casey, and
Is it Brock or
Jack
Buck?
Cutmore
I'm seeing
Scott as.
Buck.
Oh, I put in my notes Brock.
Sorry, Buck.
It's very
Sorry.
possible I
I
put them wrong.
apologize.
Sorry. Jack Cutmore Scott as Mr. Burke, who is rumored to be. This might be too much of a spoiler, right?
Mm,
No.
like a big
Should I save this
baddie.
for the spoiler section?
It's okay to say big
Yeah,
bad. We've got
rumored to
big,
be
but
a
we
big
know we're gonna
baddie.
have a big bad.
Ava Jean as Larkin, who is rumored to be an activist, who is rumored to say that her family survived Old Sunnydale and possibly be Willow's daughter. Is like what
Listen,
some
Ava
people
Jean
are
is a redhead, and
thinking.
they're not casting a redhead to just be unassociated to Willow
No,
Bird. Come on
no,
now.
no. And Daniel Tomaso as Abe, and I again once again apologize. I'm going to slaughter this name. Fali Rakatu Havana as Hugo, and Ava Larkin and Hugo are rumored to be like round out the new Scooby gang.
Yes, I promise we will get these names right. Okay, we got the original Scooby's names right. We will get this cast's name right. I swear.
Buffy taught me so many words. I thought incorporeal was made up for the show. Later learned it was a real word.
Yes.
Hello, writing professor Crawford. So now, do we want to go into like more super spoilery
Yeah, so I guess from here
territory?
out, just speculation and spoilers ahead. If you don't want to hear about it, we're gonna go into rumored plot details. So
Yeah,
it's a chance to
and
check
nothing
it
is
out.
confirmed.
Yeah,
Nothing is confirmed.
because we've got new set photos basically that like really paint a story by now.
The Vampire Weekend seems to be the main thing that they've been at least filming lately. The rumor is that there will be a vampire attack there, and that is kind of the thing that happens in the episode. I know I sent you all the photos. There's Sunnydale High haunted house is so cool and such a good idea. Such a clever way for us to like get that set, but not
I
the set.
fucking love
Like,
it. It's giving Scream 3, Sidney Prescott walking through Woodsboro again, right? Like I can only hope that Sarah will get to have a scene walking through this maybe in the aftermath of an attack or something. Buffy's walking through and maybe does a walk down the hallway of Sunnydale High because it's a full haunted house of just because they're not going to bring Sunnydale High back, recreated exactly as is. So what better way to do it than a haunted house, you know, uh, 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 conjured up by all these people who are not the Christians, by the way. The Christians would never be at these things.
no.
But all the sinners who are into the vampire and Slayer lore, and they have recreated a hallway in Sunnydale High leading up to the library. Like,
it is so cool, and it's like a full hallway. Like you can see
yeah,
the doors open, you can see down the hallway.
a good way to do fan service,
Yeah, and, like, you can even see there's, like, the picture of the door open, and you see the fucking library sign
The circle
above the doorway.
windows.
Right? Like,
It's exciting.
ah!
I've seen other people say that, like, that mention that maybe Vampire Weekend is some sort of like dream sequence, and I could very much see that because I do think in this new series that Slayer dreams are going to be a lot more prominent than they were in the original series. Like we kind of fell off of Slayer dreams after a while, and
I could see them doing what they did in season 7, how it was like she would have the dreams of the potential Slayer being
Mhm.
killed, and that Slayer was really killed, but like in her dream, she was
Yeah,
just there witnessing it, but she really wasn't there. I could almost see them doing something like that here, where like, yes, the vampire weekend really happened, but also she has dreams about it, or she has dreams about like
yeah.
specifically what, like maybe someone gets murdered in that hallway. How cool would that be?
Somebody's gonna
Episode
die in
2
the
is like,
hallway. Somebody's dying in the hallway. They're not gonna not have a death in the hallway. And it just I could see it either way. I could see it being a dream sequence. I think I lean a little bit more towards just like gonna be real life. Like this is an actual festival that's
yeah.
happening. But the dream sequence thing does make sense because we do have Snyder's Grave. And why would we have Snyder's Grave? You know, like that doesn't entirely make sense. But I don't know. Maybe the cemetery just was on just the cusp of, where the crater went
Well,
down. I don't fucking know. But
I'm also starting to get more into the theory that even the tombstones are part of the festival
oh,
because
you
like
know what? It would make sense because as I think about it, it doesn't make it as much sense for Snyder's grave to be there. So maybe it's not just Snyder's grave. Have we seen the names on the other ones? Do we have a McClay? Do we have a
I was just
hmm.
trying to like zoom in on the one, but I
Whoever's
can't.
getting these motherfucking photos? Go get some detailed tombstone photos. We need
Also, I
those.
apologize if you are the person that took these photos because everyone has put their watermark on them, so I found
Who did it? We
like
don't
every
know.
photo
Dumois?
with the different
Sorry,
watermark.
no.
Yeah. But also they got cosplayers. I really like the like vampire and
Cosplayers.
Slayer cosplayers.
How cool! How cool, right? Because I feel like we're going along with this sort of propaganda that Slayers and vampires don't really exist, and that's really being pushed by a Christian nation, I have to imagine. Um, you would have this like subsect of this the community that would be like, actually, we fully believe this lore, and we are on Reddit, and so we're gonna
Yeah.
throw a vampire weekend, and this is what it's gonna be, and this is what we think vampires look like, and I love to watch What We Do in the Shadows, so I'm gonna dress like that. You know, it's like I see it here.
Yeah, the one woman they have that's all dressed in black, she looks like she's either Nadia from What We Do in the Shadows or Anne Rice.
Hmm.
One of those two is what she's dressed as. And then there's like a girl next to her that's got like I would say probably Slayer cosplay, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Like she's got like a little like plaid skirt and like boots, and it looks like she's holding
How
like
would
a
you dress as
twin.
a 2000 Slayer? Here,
Oof.
that's kind of it, or like the
Yeah,
leather pants. I hope we see
leather
somebody walking
pants,
around with some leather pants and like a
red leather
leather
pants.
jacket, or like the blue coat behind you. Maybe I don't know. Doesn't have to make sense. And then
And I
also
do
along,
think
yeah,
I was gonna say, and I do think they look good. Like sometimes when you see like cosplayers in a show or in like a movie, it's like doesn't fit and it's just like stupid.
yeah,
This looks like some of these folks look like they like just walked out of Evanescence from like
yeah.
2001 or like Linkin Park, and like that would probably be the vibe.
I think all of these photos just really paint a very clear picture of what like the sort of storyline is going to be and what the sort of maybe more so than the storyline, what the sort of idea is here in New Sunnydale, right? And like the that this would have like grown a little bit of fanfare. Like the lore of Buffy the Vampire Slayer has grown a fandom. There's a fandom of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe. We've also got some pretty cool fucking pictures of Sarah Michelle Gellar on set here, which kind of like goes along with what Chase was saying earlier on how like Sarah's super hands-on. We've got her in her producer outfit. She's got a phone like sticking between she's got like, the pictures of like the 10 things in her hand, walking along. She's got the headphones on. At first I had to remind myself that Chloe Zhao was directing, because at first I was like, Sarah, are you directing this episode? And I think she should. I think she needs to direct an episode.
Again, because like you said, either she just had all the lore or she's like been studying the lore. Like I
Mhm.
don't know. I truly don't understand anyone who doesn't have faith in her because I really do. And
Truly.
like I I I think she knows Buffy inside and out. Like
Mhm.
I think Charisma Carpenter said this the first time I had her on the podcast, that they grew with these roles because they were so young when they started with them. So like the line between a lot of them, the line between them and their character became a little blurry. And I think that probably is true of Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Yeah.
and in the best way possible, right? Like, I think a lot of Buffy's idiosyncrasies and like things are kind of like Sarah Michelle Gellar's
Yeah.
things.
And I do think Sarah Michelle Gellar is also somebody who understood the initial sort of goal of the show, and that was to
Yeah.
capture like what was going on in a youth culture at the time, and like knowing that that is a very important thing to do now, and what kind of commentary they're going to be providing here, and like an Attack of Vampire Weekend. Like I hate to be so dark, but it's a very dark subject, and you know, teenagers in America, like they're getting shot at school, they're getting, you know, murdered, whole classes are being murdered, and this fits very much in line with that, where there's this huge tragedy that happens at Vampire Weekend, you know, and that would
Also,
immediately clue in Buffy, and Buffy would immediately come back to something like that.
it's also a good way of acknowledging what a big pop culture phenomenon the show was,
Yeah,
in the way that I Know What You Did Last Summer made sure that Helen Shivers was like, people knew who she was. There were shirts of Helen Shivers, like kind of like mimicking the real world like reaction.
yeah,
And I think this is a really clever way, in the way Scream has the stab movies, to be able to be like, yes, the thing that happened in the show became pop culture in that the world of the show. Like,
yes.
I think that's a really smart way of doing that.
I'm super into an idea like that, especially with a franchise or any sort of property that has extended to the 20-year mark, right? Like it
Right.
these things are not still happening 20 years later, and it's, you know, this small secret in Haddonfield, you know.
Right.
Like
Right.
everybody knows about Michael Myers at this point.
And
So,
like,
yeah.
I think of like Scream 5, the first time seeing Jenna Ortega have to go through the cast list and be like, it's Gail Weathers, and like how cool
Smart.
that
And it
is.
makes
Like,
sense.
it's
It
fun.
just makes sense. And so like Buffy, if she is this like sort of urban legend, if she is this town lore, it makes sure it makes sense that there's a fandom here. And I just think that the commentary that could be provided with something like an Attack on Vampire Weekend just lends itself really well to why would Buffy Summers come back to Sunnydale, you know? Because we were trying
Yes.
to scratch our brains and figure out why she would even come back in the first place.
So that leads me to the thing I was going to say is, the rumor that I keep seeing is that the her in the red dress is the end of the episode after everything has happened, and it's her finding out about the vampire attack in
Mm,
New Sunnydale, and that she has one line. I saw this
oh
on
my
Reddit in
goodness.
like 2 or 3 different Reddit posts. Someone was saying that like her one line mimics her line from Welcome to Hellmouth, where it's she just hears about the vampires and she says, "Wouldn't want that." Um, and I kind of love that. I kind
Mm,
of love that. Like,
yeah, that's
I think that's
okay.
like, but I will want more of
I
Buffy.
want more Buffy. So if this is going to be what we get of her in the pilot, then that means the second episode better be all Buffy Summers. I better know what she watches for reality TV, who her favorite housewives are, what her favorite dish. Does she cook now? I don't know. What is her life like
No,
now,
I feel like
right?
she still doesn't
I
cook.
want to see her apartment. I need to see what Buffy Summers' apartment looks like, you know? What does she value in life at this point?
Where in
I
New York does she live?
Where in New York does she live? West Village has to be, right?
I feel like she would live in that. Yeah. No, I think no, I don't know. With that dress, I almost feel
That's
like
the only thing I know about New York, Ian.
fair. Zach and I have been drunk there a few times. Um, yeah, no, I would love a like. I was thinking about this too. Like, okay, we get a like a little recap of Buffy's life, and maybe whatever episode Willow comes in, I wouldn't mind a little recap of what she's been
It's
up to
good.
this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Devote the
like
time to it.
fun.
And I am very confident that Sarah as Buffy is going to be very featured. Or I don't know why my like words are not connecting. Hold on. And I'm very confident that Buffy Summers is going to be very prominently featured because it's, if the rumored title is correct and it's on IMDb, you know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, New Sunnydale. Her name is still the title, so
Yeah.
I trust them. I trust them. And I trust this woman so much. Seeing her on set, seeing what Chase is saying about her, seeing how like fucking involved she is in this and how much love she is giving. And we know from everything that she has said that the in the time she played Buffy and it was wearing her ass out and she was tired, to now she has that appreciation has just washed over her and she appreciates Buffy Summers. And I just
I
trust her. I do.
I that reminds me of like Allison Hannigan when she was on Watch What Happens Live,
Mm,
and she said, and I I believe what she said afterwards, because
Mhm.
Andy Cohen asked her, like, who was ready for it to be over the most? And she was like,
Yeah,
oh, Sarah. She was exhausted. And she was like, no, I don't mean that as an insult.
because
And I
people
really
were
don't.
idiots and in her
Yeah.
DMs.
But she was like, I don't mean that negatively. She did a lot. And she did. So it like
Yes, like
understandable,
15,
right?
15-hour all-night work days. Come on now. She was fucking over it, right? And then I
I
said
like
I was reading recently like something about it and how she just finished shooting the series finale and immediately went over to shoot Scooby-Doo 2, right? So she didn't even
yeah.
get to like sit in the end of the show. She didn't even really like have time to do that. So
She didn't go to the cast party. Yeah. She wasn't at the like
poor, and you
thing.
know what? This is her chance to take the reins here to really shape this story in the way that she feels is very true to Buffy, this character, and this world. And again, I fucking trust her. No
Ugh.
questions. And you know, as much of a Sunnydale hater as I am now, they're putting it together really cool, and I can't even deny that. I'm pretty interested. My interest is peaked. Yeah.
My issue is, man, we gotta wait a long time. That's like literally the only like bad thing I keep thinking of is like, ugh, how long do I have to wait before I
I
see
still think
this?
first half of 2026. Like I don't think January or February 2026 anymore because I did forget we're only shooting a pilot here. The other episodes aren't even in production yet. So, but I do think first half of 2026.
And also, who knows with like Hulu and Disney Plus merging now? I don't even know.
I
Will
don't know,
Hulu
but
not
I trust it's
exist?
happening. I
Yeah.
feel it in my soul. We're getting this. We're getting
Oh
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna
But
get a lot more news.
someone on YouTube had commented saying like, "Oh, they have the funding. Why would they film a pilot?" And it's because
Mm,
it needs to be ordered for a series. Like Hulu has to
yeah.
say, "This is good. We want more." Not it doesn't. I'm sure this show has the funding. It's just that, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's how they do it. But yeah, I'm loving all these news items. I'm like, I feel like, and I feel like both of us are. We're like manic
Mhm.
over it, where it's like so exciting and like,
Like fainting, foaming at the
yeah,
mouth. And then you know what? Enjoy it, people. Enjoy it while we have it because they're going to be moving on to sound stages pretty soon. And I don't know if Andy from Craft Services is going to be able to get the pictures in that closed space.
yeah, you're right. This probably might
Well,
be like it for what we get
as much as
of
we're
like
getting, at least, you know. So,
yeah. Um yeah, but if we get any other news, we'll be doing more of these as more news comes out. Um let us know what you think in the comments. Keep it positive, please, so I don't turn into the Joker. um and if you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all social media platforms at SlayerFestX98. Make sure you subscribe to us and give us a good rating. You can find us on YouTube, where you can watch the video. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. And you can support us on Patreon, where we go through every episode of Buffy as it turns 25, and also X-Men the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, and we have like monthly Zoom hangouts. We all watched Buffy vs. Dracula this past weekend, and it was a lot of fun.
there you go. And with that, oh, dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
See y'all next time. Bye.